Yeah, you're still muted.
Yeah, still muted, Father Swaden. Yeah, I think he's having technical difficulties. Yeah, we can't hear you.
Right. How about now?
There it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, there it is. Yeah.
So, what kind of theist are we talking about?
Oh, so I'm a. So, well, I identify as a Christian, but I accept other gods are possible exist. So you probably call me polytheist, but I say I couldn't be a Unitarian Universalist.
Well, it wouldn't be me calling you a polytheist. It would be Jesus. He says there's no, there's, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. There's no other way except through me. So,
Yeah, and so
I
a lot
didn't
of
make
doctor
that
prophets.
up.
So did
Huh?
Muhammad. Muhammad said, "Yeah, you follow himself," even though it says Jesus is a prophet too, which is kind of, I don't know, that kind of doesn't make sense.
Well,
But
Muhammad,
I'm not Muslim.
right?
Not Muslim.
Muhammad would be a different case altogether because in one, Christians believe Christ is the Son of God. Muslims believe that Christ is a prophet. They're very different systems. But y'all talking about the devil and making the most ridiculous claims I've ever heard. And I was just curious. I thought it was funny when you said unseen warfare was raptured. You do realize that up until like
I was being flippant.
late.
I was being flippant.
Oh, okay. Well, why? Why were you being flippant?
It's just online debates. It's okay. Wasn't trying to
Yeah.
offend anybody.
Well, it's not a debate if nobody believes the premise you're stating. You're just throwing crap.
Well, that's
out
a good
there.
point, and that was my part of the reason why I was being a little bit flippant with unseen, whatever his name was because
Why?
he's just throwing out a premise which we have to accept as true, and then debating based on that premise without realizing that not everybody accepts that premise.
I might have missed the premise. What was the premise?
Well, the premise that that whatever's in the Bible is correct, and
So you believe the rapture is in the Bible?
I don't believe in it.
No, let's talk about the devil. Who created the devil?
Well, the devil was the head of the heavenly host of the angels. God
Yep.
created the devil.
Yes, God created the devil. And who
would-
allowed the
However-
devil to rebel?
What do you mean by allowed the devil to rebel?
I mean, gave the devil the ability to do rebellion at all. Who gave the devil that ability?
Who gave the devil the freedom to choose to fight God?
Yes, who gave
that
him?
was God. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
God gives us that choice as well.
So is God responsible for his own creations?
God is not responsible when he has given his creation a choice. Would you say parents are responsible when their kids kill someone?
They should be.
Yeah,
not.
it should be.
They're
Really?
not.
Really?
Yes.
You really believe that? This is. So you believe Charlie Manson's parents, for example, should be like put to death?
Well, he didn't commit the crime when he was a child. I'm
They
saying
didn't even put
That
Charlie
doesn't
to death.
matter. Age isn't the question.
Yeah,
Like-
they didn't even put Charlie to death. So no.
For example, I just read the story about a 14-year-old who shot and killed a cop. A 14-year-old running around the streets at 2 a.m. Yeah, you're goddamn right. The parents should be held liable for that.
Well, obviously, because that child is a minor and
Yeah.
that child is in their care.
But once they have the ability to make their own decisions and responsible for their own actions, I mean, not to say a child isn't responsible for it.
Well, how about Satan? Because it seems to me that you're ascribing Satan the innocence of a child.
Well, actually, let me ask you a legitimate question because I'm not well versed in this. Like, what was in your belief? What was the reason why the devil is what he is?
Well, I mean, I don't.
What's the
generally
story
refer
behind
to
that?
my own. I don't refer to my own reason. You can go to the Scripture and the Fathers, and they're pretty clear that the devil was overtaken by pride, and believed that he could minister creation better than God.
Because I heard that the devil wanted to give things to humans, which God did not.
Yes, yeah. That's the the Garden of Eden. So you would hold that the serpent is the hero.
Well, was not based on the story that you gave the choice between doing good and evil, which gave humans a certain degree of freedom.
Well, what I'm saying is that the serpent offered knowledge, and
Knowledge,
because
yes.
people are obsessed in the modern era with knowledge,
Absolutely.
they assume that the serpent is a hero. However, that knowledge caused them to die, and like today, We had just yesterday, I saw on Twitter, it was a scientist who became famous by saying, ethics stand in the way of progress. This is how you lead to the destruction of society. This is how you lead to the destruction of individuals, groups, etc. Progress without ethics. So was the serpent really a hero, or did he just screw up all of humanity?
I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
here's the thing. I think God agrees with that scientist, otherwise he wouldn't have created the fruit of knowledge in the first place.
I
Because
didn't
if that
say
was-
that I didn't say that knowledge was bad. I said that Adam and Eve were not ready for it. Actually, I didn't say that. I didn't get to that. The point is the serpent gave them something to defy God's orders. So it wasn't about the knowledge, it was about the disobedience.
Yes, but if God didn't make it possible for the serpent to defy the orders, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place.
What wouldn't have happened in the first place?
Well, nobody couldn't have disobeyed, and all this wouldn't have happened. So pretty much God agrees with that scientist that ethics gets away of progress. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made
no,
disobedience
that's
possible
not
in the
what
first place.
that's not what's the case at all. You're ignoring the fact that this is. Can you drive a forklift?
I am not forklift certified.
Okay. And so if you tried to drive a forklift, do you think there's a good chance you'd cause an accident?
Yes, until I get trained and certified,
Till
then I probably
you
cause.
get trained.
Yes.
There it is. Now, there is no statement as to whether or not it's assumed that eventually God would have given Adam and Eve the fruit of knowledge. However, they were not properly trained.
Well, God is omnipotent, so he could have just snapped it in their heads. He doesn't have to train anyone. He could just will it.
Well, I think that this is the problem of when we begin to argue whether we could have created man better than God. Ultimately, God chose not to give us omnipotence. He chose not to give us, all sorts of the omnis that we claim in theological discussions because we were not ready for it. Our assumption today, many thousands of years after the fact, is that we are absolutely ready for it and were from the beginning. This has shown itself whether we talk about wars or, nuclear development or genetic development has shown to be untenable. We're not that smart. We play with things we don't fully understand, and we try to make things that will have consequences we don't even consider.
Yes, so it's not that we could have created man better than God. It's that God could have chosen to create differently and avoid the problem.
Well,
if we assume omnipotence, and it follows just from omnipotence.
You still stuck in the magic could have, like you know better than God.
I'm not saying I know better than God, just God could have done something different than he did.
No, but I've come to this conclusion too before talking to Hank, and he needs to understand God, instantly almost in a one-liner, and I think that's just a wrong way to conceive of it.
It follows from the assumption of omnipotence. If God's restricted and he's like on a script like a robot, then
he's not.
I say he's irrelevant.
But if
because he can't do otherwise. But if God is omnipotent, then he can do otherwise. Because it follows from the assumption of omnipotence.
But then if you give humans omnipotence and omnipotence, then they become robots because they simply have to follow what God has already set for them previously. The question of whether or not, again, I can't, I can only say so much on this topic, but the whole point was that I thought it was, kind of unfair to pile on Unseen Warfare there, and with kind of a bit of a lack of understanding. What you mentioned, Hank, you believe in a pantheon, correct?
Well, pretty much by the anthropological record, we have had a pantheon.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. I asked, do you believe in a pantheon?
I cited anthropological record to say yes.
Oh, okay. So you do believe in a pantheon. So you believe in a hierarchy of divinities.
Yeah, if you go by the anthropological record, absolutely.
Why do you keep saying going by the anthropological record?
Because that's my reference to know about it.
but that doesn't prove anything because different cultures and different peoples have had different panthea. That doesn't make any sense. To say science says
Exactly.
people have
The
believed in a
different culture,
pantheon.
different opinions.
Yeah, not all opinions are good.
Yeah, but
That's for
we
sure.
had to acknowledge that they did have those opinions.
But who cares if they're bad opinions? There are people who
Well,
believe
we
the
figure
Earth
out
is
if they're
on a
bad or
pearl.
not.
What?
Then the process is figuring out if they're bad opinions or not. The opinions are on record, so we know they had them.
Yeah, okay. That they knew that they had them ages ago too, and realized they were bad opinions. That's why the pantheon is, except for a few really dumb modern pagans throughout the world, is generally a discredited concept.
Yeah, and
Are we-
atheists would say
Are we back to
our
pagan?
God's discredited too. So I
What
don't
would
think
an
I don't think that's a good argument, to be honest.
Well, I mean, you'd have to challenge the atheist argument, and I'm not sure what it is, but certainly the fact that pantheons existed has nothing to do with Christianity or actually.
Except for the fact that the Bible says not to worship them. If they never existed, there wouldn't be laws against idolatry.
Yeah, what's your point? That just means
They
that they
would be
smart
unnecessary.
back
If there was
then.
just one God, you wouldn't have to say don't worship other gods, because there's only one God.
Right, but if people make up a god, then why is it? Your argument seems to be, if I understand correctly, that anyone who makes up a god has a valid claim, and therefore we should just stick it on the pantheon. And I guess you're not happy with the Jews or the Christians or the Muslims saying, no, we don't have to add the made-up god. Look, I'm trying to understand your logic here.
I mean, the logic is, if there was only one God and everyone agreed to that already, there wouldn't be a command to not worship other gods because it would be unnecessary. It would be a meaningless command.
So you need popular agreement for the truth to be settled.
It would just be a meaningless command because everyone would already. There wouldn't be any confusion. They would just everyone know that there's one God.
So I'm trying to understand this again, because again, you didn't say anything in that last sentence, but in the previous one, you seemed to imply that if everyone agreed that there was one God, then this would not be an issue, even though the anthropological record, as you've pointed out, shows the existence of pantheons. What I'm trying to understand here, very simply, is on what basis you can disqualify monotheism. It seems to me that your argument against monotheism is other people believed other things, but so what?
Oh,
That doesn't
because
mean
if everyone believed the same thing, there wouldn't be an argument in the first place. There wouldn't be an order to worship this one God because there wouldn't be any other gods to choose from.
So you're saying God should force people to believe in him?
It's always an option for him, assuming omnipotence.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, if God's supposed to provide us free will, how is he freeing our will by absolutely ensuring no one else can say anything otherwise?
Who's making him provide free will?
What do you mean, who's making him? That's his choice.
Exactly.
Okay, so in other words, we have free will, but you don't like it, and God gave us free will, but you don't like it, and God declared himself one, but you don't like it. Am I just getting the general gist of it here?
I'm just saying, if God gave us free will, then he was responsible for the results of us having free will.
What?
I'm saying God's responsible for his own creations.
Oh, you're saying, in other words, you want to blame God for the things bad people do.
I say I blame creation. I blame the creator for the results of the creation. That's what I say.
So, translation, you want to blame God for what bad people do.
Yes, because God could have prevented people from doing bad, assuming omnipotence. It just logically follows. And if he couldn't, that's not God.
But then that assumes that God, in his omnipotence, wouldn't want free will, but that's just you, man.
Well, he obviously did, and he obviously did want evil, otherwise it just wouldn't be here.
Well, no, God allows evil. God does not want evil, but God
Then
allows
he can
evil.
snap it away like easier than Thanos could.
There you go again. You keep wanting to make God do what you want. God gave us free will. You're mad at it. And
That's you.
What's me?
It's you that
No,
wants.
you.
No, it's you the one started to do otherwise. And I'm just
What are
saying
you talking
he didn't.
I'm at a loss as to what he didn't even means in this
He could.
circumstance.
Well, he could have made everyone Christian monotheist, but he decided not to.
Well, he gave people free will. And
Yeah, he
you
decided
seem
not to make everyone
sometimes you
the
seem
same
to-
religion, which is why we have
Sometimes
religious
you seem
debates.
to like this idea. Sometimes you like the idea that he gave us free will, and sometimes you hate it. It's good when we're talking about the anthropological record and we're talking about pantheons. It's bad when we're talking about bad people stabbing people up in a mall. The point is, it seems to me that the God you're talking about, which hasn't really been defined, I assume it's like some like the Freemasons believing in like some master builder or something, is just kind of a selective rhetorical plot device. He doesn't seem
it's
to have
like
any rules.
Yeah, like the deist god. That's probably the closest approximation that you would understand. So
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay,
So he just
so
winds up the clock and then leaves.
Yep.
You know?
well, he could still be watching, but he's not intervening the way you want him to.
yeah, so here we go. You're dissatisfied with God again. Okay, got it.
Well, you're dissatisfied with God because I'm not your religion.
No, that wouldn't make me dissatisfied with God. That would make me dissatisfied with you.
Yes,
But that's not-
God
that's
allowed me
not-
to not use your religion, so you're dissatisfied with God by proxy.
Well, first off, God wants all men to be saved. I am not here to
Then he could have saved
declare
them,
anything about
like this.
that's making robots. That's making automatons again. Here we got to keep that
So,
there.
Are you saying God couldn't make robots?
I prefer the term artificial person.
I prefer the term automaton because we would still be technically in the form of humans. But the whole point is, Hank's missing a central problem of God, which is the concept of free will. He sees it as a problem to be solved. I see it as what makes the world interesting. The man who chooses what he loves is very different than the man who's been forced into it.
So why are you mad at people who choose differently than you?
I'm not.
All right. But
I wasn't the one making fun of anyone.
That's a good point. But Einstein's all like, "Oh, you'll see. You'll
mockery
probably
to-
burn in hell if you don't choose my way."
I didn't say that.
Come again?
He's saying that, what I said was, we'll see in the end, if, what happens. Because they're saying,
Except we
God
won't.
doesn't
We
exist.
won't.
And,
We won't.
We'll
Death
see.
is not an experience
not?
that can be shared.
How do you know?
That's a good
You're
question.
not
How
dead.
do you know?
Because in order to share the experience of death, one would have to die and then come back and talk
That's
about
correct.
that experience.
And then you wouldn't be in this conversation, so you couldn't make any declarations of
Yeah.
that. So why start now?
So when you say we'll see, that's just okay. It doesn't mean anything.
What
Well,
I mean, yeah, it does mean something. It's saying we will see what happens in the end. If you are right or
No, it's
we're
not
right.
No, but see, again, you're trying to frame it as right or wrong. I mean, and that's just
It is right or wrong.
No,
it is a question
Is
of right or
this
wrong.
true or is it not?
That's
And I'm
small
saying
and
that
that's small and
there
petty.
is a God and there is a heaven and there is a hell.
Well,
You're
what's
basically
small and petty?
saying
Tell
we'll
me
see
more.
if there's a Santa Claus. It's like, oh, okay. We'll see if there's a Santa Claus.
I actually agree with them at this point.
Well, no, I know there was a Santa Claus. That's not neither here nor there. We're talking about death. I mean, what's your point here?
My point is, in order to discuss
said
what
it's
happens
petty.
after, I'm saying the statement "we'll see" is sort of a petty thing. It's like, when you're in an
Why?
argument with somebody, you go, I'm going to end the argument. We'll just see who's right or wrong instead of just discussing it.
Well-
And
Well,
to me,
let's see if we approach this from a.
it
I mean,
comes
that's
off
just
as
false piety, and you're trying to frame me into being like petty
Well,
when I wasn't being petty.
Yeah,
I was
how
saying
about that?
it
How
comes
about
off
this?
as
I'd like to
a
introduce something.
to me it comes off petty.
Nick, is this Nick or Wolf? Who's talking?
This is me.
Nick.
Atomic Playboy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's come at this from another angle. Okay. You
Okay.
understand that I and Unseen here are Christians, correct?
I assume so. I mean, if you're saying you are, then
Okay.
yes.
Good
of course.
assumption.
Yeah.
And what is the central belief in Christianity that makes it Christianity?
Well, from my understanding, or at least what I think it is, it's ultimately humans are given, we were given the knowledge of evil, which allows us to
Yeah,
choose
no, that's
right.
not that is totally not the central point of Christianity.
And then
Total
you
central-
find, because humans sin, you find salvation through accepting Jesus Christ, or
Well,
and
what did Jesus Christ do?
not
Who is
not
Jesus
being a
Christ
Christian,
to your average?
not being
Who
a
is
Christian.
Jesus Christ
I'm
to
not an
your average
expert in.
Christian?
Well, I'm
I
not.
understand. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Let me
not an expert in
centralize
your
it.
religion.
Okay, I'm gonna be the guy at the football game holding up the John 3:16 sign. Basically, the central belief of Christianity is in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ for the salvation of our souls. Okay, I think we can say that that's fair. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So a question regarding death fundamentally will be something that affects any Christian and will modify his answer. In other words, to us, it's not petty. To us, it's the central thing. All human societies until Christ believed that death was permanent. That's it. They had different theories about where you went, if you went anywhere, so on and so forth. And Christ upended that whole idea by just coming back. So that's what he means. I think that's part of what colors Unseen Warfare's statement when he says we'll see, is because we have a deeply grounded belief in the resurrection of the body. It's not meant to be petty.
Well, I wasn't saying the belief is petty. I was just saying the statement of, well, we'll see who's right and wrong. In the end, just sounded very juvenile. I may have taken it the wrong
Well,
way.
in the end, it's a pretty important thing to a Christian. That's what I'm saying.
The other reason why I find it very petty, like to reduce Christianity to just a child, to a playground argument. Well, we'll see.
Well, I mean, you did a lot of playground arguments, I mean, within that discussion.
And again, you see, instead of
I'll give you an
talking about the
example of
topic,
one of the playground arguments you made, that people are at fault for the propaganda and brainwashing that's imposed on them.
yes,
It's
I agree
like
with
blaming someone, blaming the people, blaming the people's house that got robbed.
no, that's different.
You know what I mean? How is that different? It's
Uh,
both equally an evil act
Well,
that's
okay,
being done to somebody, and you're
let's go with the
blaming the
robbery.
people for
I
it.
do agree. Like, where I live, they say, oh, you shouldn't show fancy things. It's your fault that you got robbed. But, at the same time, if I leave my doors open and do zero effort to put any security in my house and somebody comes takes my stuff, yeah, I'm kind of at fault for that. Doesn't mean that the crime is that the person who committed the crime is absolved of any sin, but I have a responsibility. I mean, I'm kind of stupid if I do that. Hence why we lock our doors. And the same thing goes with consuming information. If you're going to be a consumer of information, it is the responsibility of the consumer to parse that information. And if they're incapable of parsing it because they're being willfully ignorant, that's their fault.
Well, you admitted yourself that you're susceptible to propaganda and
Yeah,
brainwashing.
We're all susceptible to it.
So
but,
you know what Stan Lee said? With
But
great
it's
power
your
comes
fault,
great
right?
responsibility.
Hold on. But the difference is I'm able to acknowledge it. I understand that it exists. Whereas, and that does take a little bit of effort to learn
So who
how
are
the
these
algorithm.
hypothetical people that don't understand that propaganda
You're
exists?
the one who brought it up. You said that people are being given misinformation. So I guess those
My point was,
hypothetical people are the people you're
it's not
talking about.
people's fault that there's people out here that are pushing propaganda in the media, and I'm saying that was a juvenile argument to blame them. That's my own
again, you can't actually talk about the topic. You just have to throw things out like, oh, that's juvenile, which really shows.
Which is what you did. So,
no, I said saying we'll see is petty, which it is.
Let's get back on topic. So Stanley said, with great
I don't
power
even know
comes
what the
great
topic
responsibility.
is.
So comes
That was the
infinite
topic?
power, comes infinite responsibility. So
What
it just
on
follows
earth
that
are
God's
you talking
responsible.
about? Oh, brother. So let me see if I understand this correctly. You're basing the whole "I blame God for stuff" on a comic book.
No,
yes.
Well,
yes. Let's go. Yes. I'm gonna put my flag in there. Yes.
Okay.
Now, what's your counter argument?
Well, we were talking about people brainwashed by propaganda.
And comic books are propaganda. So, what's your counter argument? With great power comes great responsibility. Therefore, infinite power comes infinite responsibility.
Well, my first counter would be Uncle Ben did not say infinite power comes infinite responsibility. You are adding that as a logical conclusion, but it may not be the case.
Okay, so would you say with infinite power comes zero responsibility?
That's not what I said.
I'm trying to ask a clarifying question.
Well, I would say that with infinite power if something has infinite power, we'll assume a god here, then the responsibility would probably be up to the object with infinite power. In other words, you would not be able, as somebody without infinite power, to judge somebody with infinite power. The book of Job is very helpful in that regard.
Okay, so you are clarifying that infinite power comes zero responsibility.
No, I didn't say zero. You misunderstood me again.
So how much responsibility? A finite responsibility for infinite power?
It's up to the infinite being. You just can't judge for it. That's like it reminds me of those old Bad Religion songs where the guy would scream at God. I mean, the whole point is like that doesn't
Okay.
it doesn't follow.
So if infinite power comes indeterminate responsibility.
Correct.
Okay.
Who's the scaredy cat in the chat who put me on timeout?
They deleted the thing. I think it was by accident. Browns boy, why do you do that, Browns boy?
Oh, by the way,
No, I'll fix that for you. Don't worry about it.
Bad Religion is a great band. I am most definitely 21st century.
I like many of their songs. Don't get me wrong. I thought
he's a professor.
Hilarious.
He's a professor at UCLA.
Yeah, guys,
Yeah,
don't ban Nick Volt in the chat. Blessings.
In fact, I strongly recommend giving Browns boy the exact same punishment he gave Nick Volt inappropriately, just so we can learn his lesson.
I mean, he is insufferable, but we must suffer. We must suffer.
Yeah, they put you in timeout. It's fine. You'll come back.
No, it's fine. It's no big deal.
I'm gonna change the timeout time to 10 seconds so we can be timed back in quickly.
Okay, yeah, that works.
I was like, like for example, Wikipedia is banned in China, and Wikipedia, even though it's not always, but it tries to be pretty non-political and non-confrontational. And I always argue, it's like, what does it say about your argument when you censor just basic facts and knowledge? What are you scared of?
Wikipedia has been censoring things like crazy. I've talked to the co-founder. It's a mess now. It's
can be
garbage.
A mess.
Now China banned it because they have they're really big on ideological control.
Yep.
I mean, it'll take them years to admit even historical events and occurred that we all knew are facts.
Like Tiananmen Square.
I don't know.
I think the big confusion with the arguments that's been going on is omniscience and predetermination. It's like conflating the two. It's like God knows all things, but that doesn't mean he decides things before they happen. Like he, that's the whole thing with free will. It's like, yeah, okay, like for instance, Hake will say, well, God created Satan, so it's God's fault that Satan does what he does or something. I mean, it's absurd, really. Like, why would you shift the blame on the creator of something for the evil act that the creation does if it has free will?
Because the creator is omnipotent, the creator could have known that what the result of his creation would be.
If
he couldn't have known, he was the closest person to have a chance of knowing. So it has to go. So the responsibility has to go somewhere.
You're presupposing that knowing something means that he's going to control everything.
All right, let's put it this way. Let's say that a guy was going to get hit by a car tomorrow, and he was a good man, a family man, so on and so forth. He was a great guy. Why did God allow him to get hit? However, had he not gotten hit, the next day he would have possibly crashed his car by mistake into a mall, killing 30 people. You can't automatically assume that one thing that looks necessarily good or bad at the outset is by its nature necessarily good or bad. As to the question of God's knowledge, I mean, I tend towards I tend towards hyper-determinism. And what I mean by that is, y'all ever seen a pachinko machine?
Yes.
No,
Okay.
I don't know what you're
Like,
talking
you know
about.
how,
What is that?
okay. A pachinko machine is a kind of it's a kind of Japanese game machine, not unlike pinball, where a ball drops from the top, but falls into a number of potential options at the bottom.
Oh yeah,
There's
yeah, I know what you're talking
Mhm.
about.
Right now, like imagine, like I don't know, like a pachinko machine times a pachinko machine times a pachinko machine. That's kind of the level of determinism we're talking about when we talk about God's foreknowledge. There can be an infinite number of possibilities that eventually reduce until the ball actually lands. But the point is, all of those are affected. All the levers, everything on the side, so on and so forth. So the assumption that there's no outcome is a mistake because God knows all the outcomes. And so that's from my perspective, it seems perfectly logical. But more importantly, the idea that we have some sort of what's called standard of right or wrong that we can apply to the functioning of planet Earth is ludicrous. We just don't know why God allows what he does. And sometimes it'll make sense 10 years, hundreds of years later. But that's unfortunate. We're finite beings. So
Saint
Well,
Anthony was, asked God that question. He says, "Well, why did kind of bad things happen to good people?" And God replied to him, "It wouldn't do you any good to know." Sort of. It was like, I'm paraphrasing, but he wasn't willing to answer the question to him because it wouldn't do him any good, anyways. So
Right, and that's just us trying to conceive the whole, the concept of God alone. Just to perceive that as a human being is probably impossible. Even if we all get
I agree with that. I agree with that. That's why that's kind of what I meant by petty arguments. It's like we can't argue about stuff which we just don't have any access to.
Yes. So
Well,
here's
but
here's
the
the
thing
issue.
is, like, presupposing we don't have any access at all when we do have access. And
Yeah.
where's that access? It's through patristic text, through
Yeah.
people, through men that have been divinely revealed things. Now,
Yeah.
So here's the
I know
issue.
that you're not going to believe those
Yeah, but-
things.
Exactly.
But the fact
Yeah,
that we have
the-
access to them,
the
Not
big
gonna
issue
believe it.
there.
Here's the issue. You claim to have special access, and you haven't
I didn't say
demonstrated
that. I
it.
said men do have that. Saints have that access through revelation.
Yes, your
You know.
saints ordained by your church have special privileges
They were ordained by
that
God,
as mere
and
mortals
the
don't somehow.
Church follows
But it hasn't
suit.
been demonstrated, which is why people disagree with you. In
Well,
fact,
how would
even if
you-
you
how
did
would you
demonstrate it, there's
demonstrate it,
probably
Hank?
be disagreement over
how
it.
would you
It's
demonstrate it,
leftovers.
Hank? Well, let's start with how would you demonstrate it, Hank?
Raise the dead. That'd be good.
Well, we actually have an elder who's buried in New Jersey. He died in 1995, and in fact, in the 60s in France, he did actually, through his prayers, raise the dead. So this sort of stuff.
Citation needed. I'm not gonna let that one pass.
Elder
Nobody.
Elder Theodore Tell, I believe it was like 1963.
Nobody raised anybody
He
from the
is
dead.
buried in the cemetery not far from Holy
Okay,
Name
so where are
Abbey.
you getting that no one did that? And we're telling you otherwise.
Because people don't rise from the dead, so that's like me saying that I can turn wine
According
into
to
well,
water.
that's the central
says
premise
that
of
can't happen.
that's the
According
central premise of
to
Christianity. So I can see why you disagree, but unfortunately,
scientific, and being able to make predictable results. People don't rise from the dead, so I'm going to need a citation.
So I actually
okay,
disagree
so
with Nick. I want them to just go ahead and do it again, so we can.
Yeah, do it again
on camera. Yeah.
Well,
do it
didn't they
again
tell
and
Christ
film it.
that if you come off the cross, then we'll believe you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what we would have to have proof.
What does he say about
Darling
a
Thomas
nation that is searching for a miracle? They won't receive the miracle.
Okay,
why
so
not?
if somebody,
I don't think they heard you.
Your logic is if I don't believe in it, I won't receive the miracle. So if I say I need proof
you can believe
that the
demons believe.
I believe I need proof that the miracle exists, which means therefore I don't believe, and so therefore I'm not able to access the proof.
The proof is that we have knowledge of this being passed down to us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's called education.
Well,
Yes.
here's the problem is that in the case of Christ, he raised Lazarus from the dead, and even then, There were people who not only could not believe what they were seeing, there were people who actively wanted to kill Lazarus again so that nobody would think that. The point I'm trying to make with this is that I could say to you that there have been cases of people raised from the dead, starting, of course, with our Lord Jesus Christ. And if you don't believe it, you're going to look for ways to discount it.
Well,
Or say
I
it's not real.
discount it because there's no evidence of it. And
Well,
to
this is
say that,
now. If you when you say there's no evidence, you
I
have
mean,
to determine your empirical standard.
it's like saying, well, unicorns exist. Well, no, they don't because we don't observe it in nature. Well,
Rhinos.
You ever
Rhinos
heard
are called
of
unicorns
rhinos?
sometimes.
well, that's because
rhinos
you
are in
refuse
fact
to see the
unicorn
evidence.
creatures.
Yes, so we have evidence of it.
Well, a horse with a unicorn.
Well, you're doing the same thing with this. You're refusing the evidence.
I've asked for the evidence. Nobody's given it to me.
Yeah,
Well, this is-
they do have
gave you the
evidence, but I want
don't believe
a
it.
live demonstration so we can properly document
We're
it
not
this
going to
time.
give you a live. No one's going to give you a live demonstration.
I would refer you to I want to
There you
say
go. Then it's not evidence. It's not scientific.
Here, Nick, I would refer you to J. Warner Wallace's Cold Case Christianity. He was a forensic investigator, a police forensic investigator, and basically used the information that they had contemporary with the Gospels as well as the Gospels themselves to determine whether or not Christ actually was raised from the dead. Now, you may even, one thing you can do is simply fully throw away any evidence to the contrary, but one thing you can't do is say that it was indisputed that a whole lot of people believe that Christ was raised from the dead when it happened. So this is now granted.
Cold Case Christianity.
Yeah.
So are you throwing out the possibility that eyewitnesses are not evidence? Are you throwing that out? You're saying that eyewitnesses are not evidence?
Not necessarily. I mean, for the longest time, we didn't believe. People said they saw what are called red sprites during thunderstorms. Science dismissed it as just illusions.
What are red sprites?
After a thunderstorm,
what are red sprites?
High up in the atmosphere, you'll see
ball lightning.
Like red flashes, and and then it turned out that it's actually true. It does happen.
Okay, so here's the question: if logically, okay, now just let's say
we saw it and we're able to now quantify it. It exists, and now we can make predictions that this storm will create that. That's what science is.
Okay, now here's something to think about. If there is a God that created all things, which I believe there is, right? What would be absurd about a God that created all things raising something from the dead?
Wouldn't be absurd at all. It's just I just want to record it on film. That'd be great. I could demonstrate to Reddington because he wouldn't believe me.
Well, I can give you an example of something that occurs that has been recorded, and that would be the holy fire that occurs on Pascha.
Wait,
yeah, go ahead.
Unfortunately, I think I got footage of a nun who said holy fire doesn't burn paper, and it does. And we also have some disclosures that holy fire is just lit. There's a normal fire that we just light.
Which would be disproven by watching a YouTube video. The fire.
There's a documentary, and there's disclosure documents. So there you go.
There was time periods
I don't know what you're
where
talking
the
about.
holy fire they couldn't access and get into it because of the sepulchre was closed off, and the holy fire descended upon them and shot out of the church itself and lit their flames, and that's documented.
Plus, on top of that, again, I have to once again point you to YouTube videos of just live recordings of the holy fire, and that doesn't happen. You see sparks and fire occurring throughout the church, not in one specific area with a guy with matches. Now, I realize the guy with matches is a comforting myth to you, but if you actually watch the YouTube videos I'm referring to, which are just recordings of the holy fire on Pascha, you would see that fire sparks are going all over the church. Now,
you can also see videos of the uncreated light, where priests are, illuminated by the uncreated light.
I prefer sticking with the holy fire because of the fact that uncreated light one can start saying, well, that's visually maybe something else, on and so forth. The holy fire makes fire.
Yeah, that is
if
true.
It wasn't, and it's happening throughout the church. If it wasn't happening, then people's candles wouldn't be lit.
Yeah.
So,
And what
There's
they did,
not a
and
real
they didn't
good
have access to
counter.
church, but they just literally wrote a fire. And just they lit a fire normally and just had a parade. That's what they did when they didn't have access to the
No,
church.
no, that's not what happened. No, that's not what happened. Unfortunately, you have to deal with what happened, not what I just made up to explain it when I haven't seen jack of it.
There was a time in the anthropological record where they didn't have access to church, but they had the holy fire magically spawn there. But they
No, the
had a
holy fire
ritual
came.
anyways.
It actually came out. It came out through. No, it came out through a column in the building. The column, by
Yes.
the way, the damaged column is still there.
Yes.
Yeah, we have photos of that. Yep.
Yes, but there was a time where they didn't have access to that building, but they had a ritual anyways. That's in the anthropological
No,
record.
that's not what happened. Yeah, anthropological record. Okay, dude, what does anthropological record have anything to do with what we just discussed?
Everything what you do, everything with it, because you're saying that
No,
you have a
it
magic
doesn't.
fire somehow, and I know the history.
Not a
of
magic
it.
fire.
It's grace.
It's not a magic fire. And it occurs only at the Holy Sepulchre on Pascha.
Every year, on the
Yep.
as if it was like a watch or something or a
Yeah, I don't
calendar.
know. All the videos I'm seeing, people burn the fire.
How convenient that happens
Wow,
via
man.
the calendar.
Well, I don't know.
A miracle happens on the calendar.
Show me something different. I mean,
all sorts of things happen on the calendar. For example, the Jordan reverses on Theophany on the calendar.
I don't even know what that means.
Yes, and
The
astrology
Jordan
happens
River
on the calendar
reverses
too.
it. The Jordan River reverses its flow.
Oh, rivers can
on
reverse their
the-
flow. It's a pretty well understood phenomenon.
Yep, every year on the Theophany, the baptism of our Lord. So now you have some sort of explanation for it, which is good. Now there you go. To us, that would be a further proof of the faith. To you, that would be a random phenomenon that occurs every year at the same place at the same time.
But I'm not familiar with the phenomenon specifically of Jordan River.
I mean, it's like the Glastonbury thing.
But
There
rivers
was
can reverse their
Well, that's not the
course.
point that they can or can't do it. It's that it
And so-
happens at this specific time. You know,
And then,
well,
over and over.
but
Like I
it's
said,
again,
I haven't heard of that, so I can't comment on it. I'm just saying that
There's a whole lot you haven't heard of yet. You dismiss Christianity
I haven't dismissed it.
outright without knowing.
No,
what
it's
it's saying.
but generally the
Yes.
stuff which we hear about is stuff which is real demonstrable phenomena. Obscure things like, rivers reversing. I don't know. I've never heard about it.
But I know what all the fires
central
do.
to
Like,
that.
replicated on
Think about
YouTube.
this. Why would they keep that information? Like, if this
They're not
happened,
keeping it.
why wouldn't we
Nobody's-
learn about it?
It's
When we
For the
learned about
same-
Earth science.
This is for the same reason they rejected the witnesses of Christ's resurrection. It's not because of the fact that people aren't talking about it. It's because there's a whole bunch of other people saying it's not real.
Well,
like
it's
you.
not a matter of rejecting. It's just people don't rise from the dead. That's
so
not
Nick,
rejecting.
Nick. So let me explain this to you. They have a whole set of magic rituals that you need to know
Magic
about
rituals.
because there's special knowledge,
Magic.
but you have to join to know about.
Blasphemy.
But that information got leaked. It's a hook. It's a hook. But if you research you can research it yourself and find it's not as magical as they say it is, or the magic works different than they say it does.
Well, because there's
No
always
one's
going to
saying
be
it's
people that try to
magical.
explain it away.
Well,
you said it's holy though.
So
It's
hold
dark
on.
magic.
I'm reading about
That's not
the
God. Okay, God is not
Jordan
the author
River,
of magic, but the author of creation.
Well, while it turns out that rivers can reverse flow due to tidal stuff or whatnot, the River Jordan does not flow backwards, as some
Okay.
Christians assert.
Nice
Even
What?
though
reference.
you can see
Can
it.
you do more
we also
research
do
than
a
that?
reference to Tel Aviv because we really need
So
that.
your proof is, believe me, despite all signs saying that it doesn't.
Well,
No,
there's
my
always going to
proof
be
is
people
go
out there
see
that
it
say that it
yourself.
doesn't because they don't want to believe.
Okay, so because I want proof, I have to believe in it in order for me to see
Why
the
don't
proof.
you look
right?
further? I mean, instead of just one article by an atheist.
Well, I'm looking at multiple articles by not
that's a
not
lie.
what we call atheists, but what we call hydrologists.
Oh, this is gotten
Hydrology is
awkward.
a well understood science. And I guess Orthodox Christians believe, because it was allegedly Christ baptized in the Jordan River. Is that
Can you
where it comes
explain
from?
symmetry, proportion, and the adaptation of one thing to another and the ordering of the seasons?
I can definitely explain symmetry. And what does that have to do with the seasons?
Well, I said I included that. It doesn't have to be necessarily, related.
I don't understand the question.
It denotes design,
What denotes design?
symmetry, proportion, and the adaptation of one thing to the another, and in the order.
No, actually, no. In fact, you brought this up earlier about sort of when we were talking about things which take the path of least resistance. I mean, if you're talking about the orbit of planets, again, it's a very well understood phenomenon. And the reason why it happens, there's no.
Well, whether it's understood or not, it really doesn't dispute God. Whether you understand.
No, I agree with you.
Not,
knowing how planets orbit doesn't dispute God. I don't say it does.
I would argue that that's his footprint or his fingerprint in design of the way things are.
Okay.
I agree with
science
you.
is just catching up.
Okay.
So I agree with you, Unseen Warproof. Is God responsible for his footprints? Is God responsible for various
I would
steps?
argue that the flying spaghetti that's proof of the flying spaghetti monster, because the
Can I
flying
ask
spaghetti
you a
monster
question?
created everything in order.
Absurdism, but
Nick,
how's that absurd?
we don't prophets and
why would that be absurd
that
and yours
have
not
raised the
absurd?
dead because of the flying spaghetti.
People don't
monster.
raise.
That's why it's absurd.
People don't rise from the dead.
Can I tell you why
People
the
don't rise
flying
from the dead.
spaghetti? Okay, here. Let me explain this to you very simply. The reason, and I'm sure you know this, why the flying spaghetti monster is not a valid explanation for anything is because it is basically the taking of three different human-made concepts and then applying it to whatever might be actual proof for God. Now, you have not given an evidentiary kind of standard that you would use to accept for God. So my guess is that not only do you not have one, but you will continue to raise the bar higher so that you can remain in your arrogance and away from God.
Well, clearly you haven't been touched by his noodly appendage, but I find it really ironic you say that, yet then advocate that your religion is real. Because that statement which you just said could be turned around and say about any religion.
Okay, so no, I disagree. I think that an evidentiary standard gets rid of the flying spaghetti monster.
Okay, evidentiary standard, but the evidence which you bring up is also mystical and supernatural, which
because you have not given an evidentiary standard.
Nor have you.
I have, and I said.
Therefore, my religion, and I'm of the faith.
You don't have a religion.
It's actually fettuccine.
Son, you don't have a religion. You have a LARP.
So you have a LARP. You don't have a religion.
So I did have an evidentiary standard. I asked them to raise the dead on film, and he refused.
Honestly, Joseph, you sound like you're having the pride, and you're kind of like, oh well, I had the ability.
Oh my goodness, I'm just gonna throw back whatever he says at me.
What gives you the authority to tell people what their religion is and what their religion isn't and what they believe in?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question, but you haven't.
If I choose to believe in the flying spaghetti monster, isn't it kind of self-righteous of you to tell me that I'm wrong?
No, because your religion is stupid.
Your religion is stupid.
You've been saying that. Well, you're atheists, like you've been saying that for 100 years.
No. I take that back. Christianity is not stupid.
You don't take it back. You're a liar.
Your interpretation. No. Your interpretation.
You're a liar. You spit out the truth. Now you hate it.
So your argument is I'm a liar. No, I misspoke.
You are a liar.
Are you going to let me finish? I misspoke. I didn't say that Christianity is stupid.
Yes, you did. You said Christianity.
I know. I misspoke.
It's on tape, Nick.
I know.
It's on tape.
And I'm saying I misspoke.
You spoke to the foundation
what I meant to say,
all human education, which would be the church. You are a liar. You're
sad.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, you're a fanatic. I'm not going to argue with a fanatic. I'm not going to argue with a fanatic.
Why are you mad at God, buddy?
I'm not going to argue with a fanatic.
What happened? Was it one time in the church? What did they tell you? What did they tell you that was so bad? Why are you? What's wrong, buddy? Tell the truth.
You're psychotic.
I'm psychotic.
Because
no, that's me.
Christianity's stupid, and then said,
what I meant to say is your interpretation of Christianity is just
my interpretation. Yeah. Oh, which one's good? Which interpretation of Christianity is good? Tell me.
I would argue the one where Jesus says that we are the gods. That's my interpretation of it.
Oh, where Jesus says we are the gods.
So there we go. We have the same book, but two of us interpret it differently. What makes your interpretation correct?
Because of the fact that you're not using the book correctly, you're not actually referring. Okay,
you're not using the book correctly.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, really.
Okay, what did Christ say was the purpose of his coming? You don't know because all you
I
took
don't know
is
why
ye
he
are
was born.
gods.
Oh,
and-
I also, speaking of his coming, I also know that virgins don't give birth.
oh, you know that virgins don't give birth.
You don't
that's
understand
called
the
a
definition of
miracle.
virgin in the context,
Oh,
Nick.
it's called a miracle. See, anytime I ask for proof, there's nothing that can be quantified. It's just proof.
Logic,
It's a
reason.
miracle. It's a
Like,
miracle.
I mean, you got a robotic mindset, man. I mean,
Oh,
you don't
so your
believe in
argument is I
anything
have a
except
robotic
like, what
mindset.
you can see and
Yes.
touch.
Yes,
You know,
that's called nature. We can
Yeah,
only
yeah,
know what we
well-
can see and touch.
can you see air?
Can I see air? No, air has the same index of refraction as my eyeballs,
But
therefore
you
I don't
believe
see
it,
it.
right? You believe it, right?
But it exists because I can quantify
You
it.
said so because science says so, because logic says so.
So Nick's factually
because
wrong. You can't see air. That's how we see the atmosphere.
Yeah, because no, I said the
Rarely scattering.
light doesn't refract in the atmosphere because the index of refraction of the atmosphere, which happens to be 1, is the same with the liquid in our eyes, so we don't see it.
Is
Can I
there
ask
anything
you-
That
that's
doesn't mean it
beyond
doesn't
your
exist.
intelligence?
Hold
But
on,
there
Nick.
is
Nick,
quantifiable evidence that the atmosphere exists. We can make
I want
predictable
to
results.
know one thing. You quoted Christ as saying, "Ye are gods," so you took that part of the scripture
All
seriously.
right, I gotta go.
But the virgin birth, that was something you just outright reject.
That's a
So
story.
my-
It's a
Can I
metaphor.
ask you? Can I ask you a question then?
I don't take them literally.
Is anything in the scripture not a metaphor outside of "ye are gods"? Like, because your interpretation seems to be based on nothing, absolutely nothing. You picked
your
one
belief.
verse. No, well, okay, prove me wrong.
Well, first of all, you're automatically going, you're wrong, you're this, without actually fully understanding the way I
Well,
interpret
5 minutes
Christianity.
ago, you were trying to defend the flying spaghetti monster. So, excuse me if I don't take you as a biblical scholar
Well,
seriously.
because to me, what you're saying doesn't. I mean, obviously, the flying spaghetti monster is satire, and I'm
You
satire.
don't
and you're
believe anything. Just say that.
That's
Just
not
say
true.
you don't believe in anything except you.
That's not true.
You worship the self.
That's not true.
Okay.
How could you possibly know? And this again shows
Because
your pride.
because you mock everything except what you like.
No, I mock the ridiculous literalness which people take religions at. Like people really rise from the dead. Did we have giants?
People
Did
really
giant
run.
humans
Yes, we
be?
did. We
Okay.
do actually find skeletons of giants.
Yeah.
Yes, we did have
Well,
giants.
that's what
This
I'm
is, like,
mocking.
not
That's what I'm
crazy.
mocking.
You're mocking the giants that existed. That doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
There's no evidence of it.
Even if they would see
There's no
one
evidence.
raised from the dead, they would not believe.
People don't rise from the dead.
Okay. Well, I mean that once again we're
But
at
you're
an
welcome.
impasse here.
No, I'm not
We're
saying
at
that.
an impasse.
I'm not saying that your belief is
basically-
wrong.
Yes, you are.
No,
Either people rise from
my
the dead or
problem
they
is
don't.
you turning around and using your
What did
belief
you-
and
what-
attacking me with it.
Do people rise from the dead or they don't?
I don't. No, they don't.
Then you do not respect my beliefs.
No, I respect
Don't pretend.
I respect you that you're entitled to believe what you want. I mean, of course, I get it. It takes faith.
Entitled to believe
You can
what
have
you want?
faith that.
Why
it
would you?
believes-
Why would one?
Let
be
me put it.
entitled to
Let me
believe
put it
what
a different way. I don't accept.
What if I believed to molest?
I don't
kids?
accept.
Would that
I
be
don't.
okay?
Let me put it a different way. I don't
Like,
accept.
this
your
doesn't
belief.
make any sense.
I
Believe
don't
what
accept your belief.
You don't have to.
I mean,
But
that's
the
like
point
somebody
is-
who says they believe the Earth is flat. Okay, you can believe that, but I don't accept your belief because it's not.
Okay. Well, I would.
And
agree
if you
with
believe
there,
people
but
raised from the dead, okay, I don't accept that belief. And
that's okay.
and if you want,
You're wrong.
if you
that
well,
happens.
okay, so your argument is
Some
you're
people
wrong.
clarify these as NDEs or near-death experiences now.
Yeah, those can be explained too. Human mind is very
But
complex.
yeah, I know. The point is, some things that we considered miraculous in the past, such as
I mean, just
light-
because you don't understand the science doesn't make it a miracle.
Can you stick to a subject for more than 30 seconds? Like,
No.
I mean, like,
No, because I'm not. No, because you're trying to use these classic arguments. Haha, I got you.
I'm trying to have
I'm just trying to show how.
All you want to do
No,
is
you're
yell and
not.
scream
No,
and
all
swear
you're
like-
doing
swear like an idiot.
well, I'm sorry, you were the one who was just shouting I'm a liar.
Okay,
without letting me
you were a liar.
clarify.
You literally lied on camera.
I literally lied on camera.
Yeah, you did.
Okay,
That's
what was
why I
my
said
what
that.
was my lie?
You first said that Christianity
Yes,
was,
and I clarified. I
and then you
misspoke.
said, "Oh no, I okay."
Yeah,
oh,
That's not a lie. That's not a lie.
You don't lie. Well, yeah, okay. So when you lie, you can just misspeak it.
That's not a lie. Do you not know what a lie is? I mean,
I know what a lie is.
you clearly don't.
Oh, I do.
I mean, why don't you read some of the books which are behind you? Maybe
Uh-huh.
that will help.
Oh yeah, that's good. Throw that out there.
Well,
I'm
it seems.
not
I
gonna
mean, you don't.
answer
Somebody at your age who doesn't understand what a lie is. You know, I'm
How
not
old am
sure.
How old
You're
are
old
you?
enough. You're old enough to have some basic critical.
And
thinking
how old are
ability.
you?
It's none of your fucking business.
Oh, that's funny. You can make comments about my age, but I can't do it to you. You know
No,
what that-
I said you're old enough, and I am old enough.
The unfalsifiability of atheism. You
I'm not
guys
an
are
atheist.
such
Not an
believers.
atheist.
I know
Not
you'll
an
believe
atheist.
in anything except what counts.
No, I believe in stuff.
Yeah.
I have beliefs.
Yeah, okay. Look, why don't you go to the kitchen and cook your god? Make them fly and all that, and well, we can talk about something else. I mean, you're
Today's
difficult
ravioli-
to deal with.
Well, clearly you can't talk about it because you're a religious fanatic. You've been brainwashed.
I don't. There's nothing to talk about. It's a stupid
Exactly,
made-up concept.
because I mean, it's just as if I believed in the flying spaghetti monster and refused to listen to anything else. And any
That's what
evidence,
you've been doing.
yeah, no, but I'm throwing back
That's
what you're
literally
doing.
what you've been doing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
you are showing yourself as a
Because
classic
okay,
Christian
so
monster.
okay, let's make this simple. Let's stick with one topic. Show me evidence that the
Can
River
you?
Jordan.
Can
Show
you?
me evidence that the River Jordan reverses flow on a specific day.
People have taken videos of it, and
Show
they're
me.
also on
Show me.
YouTube.
Show me.
No, you
Put some in the
Go
chat.
ahead. Go ahead.
Put some in the chat.
I cannot put them in the chat.
Okay,
You have no
well,
idea how YouTube works.
So I'm asking for evidence, and you're.
I'm telling you, go to
just say
YouTube and look up the River Jordan.
I did.
On
And it
Theophany.
clearly,
It's not
yeah,
that hard.
and there's not a single video of it
That's
reversing.
a lie.
Do you want to? Should I share my screen and we can do this together?
Yeah, I can actually give you search terms. That's right.
Well, give me a search term now, because I looked.
No. Let's put your screen on first.
Well, I don't have
I
the
don't want you
authority to do that.
lying.
I don't have the authority to do that, so you got to ask
Okay.
Machine Guys.
Okay. TML,
Do you not understand how StreamYards work? Do you not
I
understand
do.
that? Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
That's why you didn't understand.
The moderator has to allow me to share my screen.
Sure, go ahead.
So if he says I can, then I will.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Let's see. StreamYard, share screen, present. YouTube. You see it?
No.
I think maybe he has to approve it or something.
Okay, I see it sort of. All right, can you go into the little search box? Okay. And then you want to type in Jordan River Theophany. THEOPH.
Okay, which one should I look at?
All right. Maybe add the word flow.
Oops. Miracle, 11 years ago, the River Jordan turning back.
Okay. I can barely read these, but that's my screen. So.
Not sure what I'm watching. Okay, this one looks newer. Let's look at this one. I don't know, that's the same one. Let me go back. The quality of this video is very bad, so this one looks better.
Okay, that's just a simple guy talking.
Yeah, I thought in the thumbnail he had a picture. It's the same fucking video. There's one video.
Okay. Well,
so
then
I don't see the River Jordan reversing flow. I see somebody throwing stuff into the river.
All right. So let's see.
So where's the proof? You said many videos. So far, I've only seen one.
Okay. Well, I guess.
Oh, wait. Here's another one. Let's try this one. Wait, what was that? Hold on. I saw something. No, that's nothing.
The point is, you said these videos didn't exist.
No, the point is no. The point is
you said.
No, don't change the subject. I said the River Jordan doesn't reverse flow.
No, you said there's no such videos as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen one yet. So that statement.
I didn't say they were good, but that's not the point.
So you're claiming what we just saw was actually the River Jordan? I just saw somebody throwing something into a water.
Yeah, that is the River Jordan.
Okay, so therefore, both of my statements are still correct. Or haven't been disproven. The River Jordan doesn't change flow, and no, we haven't found a video of it yet.
Okay. Well, first off, you're wrong on the first point, and on the second point, you haven't found a video that's good enough. yet.
If you could show me, I mean, one of the things about science is if you show the evidence, then we have.
I don't think you're an arbiter of science.
I didn't say I was, but
Well, when you start
show me
talking about it,
show me the River Jordan going backwards. You said it exists. You said there's evidence of it, and
I said anyone can go see it on Theophany as well.
it turns out anybody can't. We have one video.
No, that's not true.
Here, let me even search Google for it. Let's see.
Oh, boy. You might have to search in other languages.
Public orthodoxy. When you enlighten all things.
Orthodoxy. Oh my gosh, you're quoting the group that supports LGBT in the church. They don't take anything seriously. Like, okay, that's your evidence. Thanks.
No, I'm just reading a quote. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. That's
So
cool.
here, I'm sharing my screen. Which one should I look at? Which one is going to tell me the truth?
First off, I can barely read your screen because it's so small.
That's why I asked you for links, but look, Orthodox Christianity, it goes to the same video. It goes to the same video, which shows nothing.
There are other videos, but they're probably in other languages.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and claim that you have zero evidence until you can show otherwise.
And I'm going to go ahead and claim that I have evidence that you don't accept because that's
what you haven't given any evidence. I'm the one who looked for the evidence. We found one video. You give me some evidence.
You failed spectacularly in the fact that you keep claiming I have no evidence, and I keep pointing you to things, and then you go, that doesn't count.
Maybe you. No, I never said it didn't count.
That's what the words evidentiary.
Yeah. How could I discount your evidence if you haven't given me any?
Okay. Yeah. This is my point. If you say,
okay, give me evidence. Give me evidence. You can't. You can't do it.
Nick, shut up for a second and let me explain.
No, because
you sound stupid, and I'm going to explain why.
Oh, now I sound stupid.
Yeah,
you're the one who doesn't have any evidence. I looked up the evidence, and none existed. Okay. And I'm the one who's stupid. And then when I ask you for evidence, you just go, "Oh, let me explain something to you."
No. Okay. You can say something doesn't qualify as evidence. You can say it's poor evidence.
Yeah, that video was poor
evidence. You
can't say
it's not evidence.
Yes, I can.
There is a difference. You can say it is not worthwhile evidence. All of these are related to an evidentiary standard.
No, there's no evidence.
Stop talking.
There's no evidence.
Binaries. You sound like an idiot when you speak in binaries.
Now I sound like an idiot because you say rivers magically reverse flow.
You literally
rivers do not magically reverse flow.
You put up 2 videos and an article and then said, I provided no evidence.
Because I can't find the evidence.
What you're saying,
I'm asking you for the evidence.
Stop speaking in a binary. There is a difference between what you consider poor evidence.
Why don't you stop speaking and show us evidence?
Because you're not.
Because you don't have any. You don't have any.
Put it up. You literally put it up on the screen for me.
Yeah, I put up a video of somebody throwing a stone in the water. And then you said, try something else. Every single piece says.
My point is this. I was going to begin looking for.
Oh, you were going to? I was going to do it, but now you're being mean.
No. I was mean. Ha.
Oh, my God.
I was going to look at the foreign languages. See, that's my problem. What you consider fun is aggravating to other people.
I know, because I'm challenging your delusions.
No, it's not challenging any delusions.
It is. You're deluded. You're deluded to think that the River Jordan magically turned.
Let me see if I can help you.
Yeah, help me, please. I've been asking for help. I've been asking for evidence.
Okay.
If you show me evidence, I'll accept that I'm wrong.
Okay. Can you present the YouTube screen again, TML?
Yes.
Okay. Nick, can you put up a Ren and Stimpy video?
I don't have a Ren and Stimpy video.
Look one up.
Why don't you look one up? Aren't you sharing your screen?
No. You're sharing your screen.
I am currently not sharing my screen.
Okay, well, share your screen.
Why?
So
to show you a Ren and Stimpy video?
Yes.
Why?
Just do it.
No. You do it.
Why don't you do it?
Because it's not my responsibility to do it. I thought you were showing us evidence.
Do you have any video you want to put up that you'd like to show me?
Maybe, but I don't want to get this channel in trouble.
Okay, well, don't put something that'll get the channel in trouble then, genius.
Well, you asked me if there's something I wanted to show you, and if what I want to show you would probably get the channel.
Well, then don't show me something that'll get the channel banned.
Because it seems like you're scared of gay people.
Are you a gay person?
Yeah, that's none of your business.
You sound like Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, I sound like a gay person. Okay. Do you know what? Do you have gaydar or something?
No.
And you're calling me stupid. Wow. Like I said, you got some books back there. Why don't you read them? Educate yourself before speaking.
Hey, Nick, can you show anything on your screen that would not be vile?
Yeah, I could.
Okay. Can TML share that screen?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. And we're gonna watch it too.
I thought you said that you didn't have a video or something.
No,
But
no,
okay.
I'll play your game.
Sure.
Since clearly you're scared to share your screen, I don't know what you have on your screen that you're scared to show.
Of course, there's something scary on my screen.
Well, it sure sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I generally found that people who are very anti-gay tend to enjoy that stuff.
Okay, what's this?
You said share a video, so I'm gonna share a video.
Okay, what is it?
I believe that's the actor. What is his name? I totally forgot his name. He's really good though.
Okay, TML, can you take it off? Yeah, you didn't show me anything. Hello?
Wait, I'm sorry. Was that your argument?
Yeah, that was my argument. I was trying to make a point about an evidentiary standard, and I
Well
asked you to show a
done.
video, and you
Well
showed
done.
nothing.
You must have been great at speech and debate.
You showed nothing.
I showed a
Did you show
video.
No,
I showed
you
a video.
didn't. No,
which,
you didn't.
No,
No,
you acknowledged.
you
acknowledged that
did
you could
not.
see it. You
No,
acknowledged that you could see it. Then you denied
you
it.
didn't show a video. Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
I'm not even going to
You see,
entertain
that's how
that.
I felt for the past 25 minutes, doofus.
Yeah, because you seem to have issues with basic logic and critical thinking.
Oh, okay. Can you note some? What are the
Yeah,
basic logic?
well,
And,
just right
critical
now,
thinking errors?
you saw a video of somebody
Did
acting.
I didn't
playing
see a video. I didn't see a video. You never showed a video.
That's what we call it, delusional.
Ah, okay. Now you realize the
So
problem with
again,
talking to you.
instead of showing any evidence, instead of making this bold claim that the River Jordan reverses flow on a specific day, and then when
Something that's
asked,
been long held for hundreds of years.
long held for hundreds of years, yet
Well
you
done, yeah.
don't have any evidence. You don't even have any historical records of it. You have nothing
Even
to
though
show.
I literally you pulled up
You-
two
okay,
videos
so
and an
clearly
article.
you don't know what the word literally means, because no, we didn't literally pull up a video which did it. The only video we saw, which now you're claiming we didn't see, is somebody throwing a stone in some water.
Oh, so you admit that there was a video you saw, you just don't think it's good evidence.
No,
correct?
I just say that's not a video of the River Jordan
That's
reversing
you,
flow.
you see, you keep using this
Okay,
stupid.
why don't we put the video back on and you explain to me how the River Jordan is reversing flow? Maybe I'm not understanding the video. Can you do that?
No, you don't even accept it exists.
No. I if you're saying that's what it is, maybe I explain the video to me. Maybe I saw it wrong.
Maybe.
Can you do that?
No.
Are you able to do that?
No.
Oh, so again, we're back to square one. You have zero evidence. You make a bold claim, but you're completely.
What was my bold claim?
That the River Jordan reverses flow on a specific day.
I stick with that, but I also
Okay,
said there were
that's what we
videos
call it,
about
delusional.
it, and they were
Okay,
good
and
videos.
I
Well,
still-
if it's delusional, then why
I
is
still
it that
st-
every year
Well, there's
there are
evidence.
visitors?
There's evidence
every
of a
year.
flying spaghetti monster.
Every year there are thousands of people who go to
Every year, the flying
Jerusalem
spaghetti
Mount
monster. Every year, the spaghetti monster shows himself in Germany.
Yeah. Okay, and where? Do you have any evidence of that?
I have a video.
Of people going to the flying spaghetti monster in
Yeah.
Germany?
Yeah.
And there being a flying. This would amuse me. Let me see if
Would
I
you like to
understand
see it?
correctly. Is it and it's thousands of people going? Is this going to be something pornographic or something that I'm going to regret
No.
ever? Okay, let's take a look at your
I'm not gonna.
wonderful video.
No, I don't porn bomb. But if you claim that small video we saw is
I don't
evidence
even
of-
understand that comment.
well,
Someone
if you're saying
commented about
you're
that.
saying that video we saw somebody throwing a stone in the water is evidence of the River Jordan flowing backwards, then here's my evidence of the flying spaghetti monster. Here's a sighting in Russia in
Sure.
1957.
A what?
This happened in 1957. A mass sighting of the flying spaghetti monster.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's go ahead,
yeah,
play it.
No, I'm sorry. The quality is not very good. There you go. See, I proved my point.
Yeah, that's like cheap video editing. Congratulations.
Well, so is somebody throwing a stone in a body
No,
of
it's
water.
not. No,
Okay,
it's not.
so
You can clearly tell the difference.
let's go back to
You couldn't even
River
see the river
Jordan
reversing, and now
reversing.
you're that was a cheap video edit. Now you're going to present that as evidence? Come on,
Well,
this
is
is
that?
really sad.
Yeah, that's what you're doing, though. You're claiming that.
Is it? Is it what I'm
What's
doing?
sad is you have zero evidence. So here we go.
Mhm.
We'll watch a video again. Show me where it's reversing flow.
Mhm.
I see water moving. A lot of sand in it,
Mhm.
which the River Jordan does have.
It is muddy.
I see some eddies here. Looks like eddy currents.
Eddy currents?
Eddy currents, quite normal in a flowing
What's an
river.
eddy current?
Eddy current is how do I explain this?
Oh yeah. How do you explain it?
Yeah, I think it's just easier to show you a picture of an eddy.
What is
current.
an eddy current? Just say
It's
what it is.
it's like when flow starts to rotate.
Rotate, as in go in another direction.
Well, eddy currents do that.
Oh,
it looks like yeah, and eddy currents
so
are.
in other words, you're now saying that the evidence presented did not show the river changing direction,
eddy currents
but
are.
it did.
No, I thought I saw eddy currents.
Okay.
But
this is dumb now. This is stupid. Okay, this is ridiculously bad.
Oh, here I'll show you eddy currents.
Okay, yeah.
Winglets. This is when planes land, they create eddy currents. So this would be an eddy current.
So the explanation for the hundreds of years is that some plane just kind of caused it on the same day, every day, every
you not
year.
Understand that air flows just like water does, and this is an example of an eddy current. Water, if you knew anything about fluid dynamics, eddy currents are quite common. All rivers have eddy currents. So
I'm
let's
fully
go back to the
aware
video.
of that.
So let me guess. When we throw the stone into the eddy current, it's going to follow the flow of the
Do
eddy
you think
current.
that the stone is causing it? The stone,
No,
the random stone in the video.
The flow of the water is creating current. It's turbulence. That's actually another way of talking.
And the turbulence causes the water to change direction on the feast.
The water is
baptism
not
of our
changing
Lord every
direction.
year.
When you say a river changes direction,
You admitted it was changing direction.
No, I said I saw eddy currents, but the flow, the mass of the flow is still following one direction. Again, it's fluid dynamics, man. You're just trying to pick up on one statement I said without actually understanding hydrology and flows of masses. So now I see a bunch of trees. I see people praying.
Yeah,
maybe
they're praying. Yes. It's
yeah. So when does the river reverse course exactly?
I believe it happens.
This seems to be the only video, so I'm assuming that this is your evidence of it.
It's not the only video.
Okay, well, help me find others.
Why?
Because I'm interested now. I mean, if it actually does it, then that's kind of cool.
If you are interested.
Oh, wait. Look at that. Oh, that might not be flowing in the same direction. Oh, and the camera moved. That was actually
it's called a person holding it. What are you going to do?
Oh, the person's pulling it, so it's not really... Okay.
Oh, brother, that's not what I said.
You're not saying anything. You're just saying, believe me, without any evidence. And then
I'm the one who provided evidence, and you provided me a Photoshop or whatever video program that was. It's silly stuff.
You're providing me in a 14-year-old video, which I don't even know what I'm looking at anymore. I mean, how do we even know that this is a River Jordan?
I don't know. Eddy currents, man. That's what you said.
All rivers have eddy currents.
Well, yeah, but this one has specific eddy currents on a specific day every year.
No, all mass flow has eddy currents.
And they occur at set times, or is it random?
It could be anything. I mean, I assume the floor of the river is not flat, so that would cause eddy currents. Let's see what an actual backwards river flow looks like. That is just Photoshop.
Yeah, that's not real. All right. Well, it's obvious I'm giving you something to think about. I suggest using
you've given me nothing to think about, other than reinforcing my belief that you want us to believe ridiculous fairy tales without any evidence, and I reject that. I need evidence.
What you need is evidence that fits your standard.
Yes, exactly. Evidence that can be used
out of the binary,
to
think in
be able to
terms
be
of
quantified
gradation.
and make predictable results.
Mhm.
Absolutely. That's what evidence is. Now, you want evidence to be just believe in it.
No.
And sorry, I'm not going to accept that.
Okay. Well, you have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna go.
You as well.
This is kind of good
You
luck.
have no evidence to show, so you're going to run away because
it's
you can
not an
claim-
issue that it's an issue of your
Yeah, you
evidentiary
believe it.
standard.
I accept your belief. I just don't believe it for myself.
No, you don't accept my belief. You reject
No, I do.
it wholly.
I accept that you believe in fairy tales.
Well, before you go,
Not my belief.
yeah, well, before you go, I'd like to ask a kind of a different question, take it in another direction, because somebody asked real quick, what is your guys' opinion on Israel? Real quick, if you guys could, before you guys leave, because I'm about to wrap up the show, but you guys.
What's your opinion on Israel, Nick?
In what regards? Their environmental policy? Like, what do you mean? Are you talking about the Arab-Israeli conflict?
Right.
I believe Israel has a right to defend itself.
I believe the same for the Palestinians.
I agree that bombing children is bad. War in general is bad. It's a complicated issue. I mean, this goes way back, and of course, there's blame on both sides. And yeah, I'm trying to be politically neutral because it's a sensitive topic.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: I don't support shooting children. I don't support flying into a concert and killing innocent people. I absolutely don't support that.
How about locking them up in kind of like a semi-outdoor prison sort of setup where they can't get food in or out for like 4 days?
I don't specifically know if Israel does that, but I would argue that anybody does that is immoral.
I would agree with that. All right. Well, have a great day. God bless
Yeah.
you. Good luck.
Have a
Nick.
blessed day,
Good
Father
luck.
Swayden. Thank you.
Well, please.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Nick.
Yeah, every
bless
once in
you.
a while I need a good debate. It's good for the soul.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But thank you for having me up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, anything else you'd like to say to these people?
No, it's just good talking to you. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, folks, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take out unpin the link here and go into